Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ysn Power Hour, powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you, and we've got a great show for you today. One of my dearest friends in the entire world joins me today. We'll talk about baseball. We'll talk about the frustrations of playing baseball in March, as I think everybody, baseball, softball, and everyone alike, having the same issues today, whether you got turf or not. Tough to get games in here on this rainy Tuesday here as March 26th, 2024 is among us. The living legend himself, again, one of my best friends in the world, Gary Niddle, will join me in just a couple minutes to talk about Canfield baseball and their hot start with a 2-0 win yesterday over their arch rival in Austintown. Fitch will talk about where the Cardinals are this year with a very young team, but still able to get it done on opening day. We'll talk about the state of baseball it's tough. It's tough skating in Ohio and hard to kind of translate that to some of these other states as the trips are starting. As you know, a lot of us going to Myrtle Beach, some teams going to Florida, some teams going to Arizona. So we'll talk about kind of the importance of trips like that and why it's crucial almost at this point for teams, especially in the Northeast Ohio region, to get out of here for a week or so and go play some baseball and get in softball and get some games in. We'll talk to Gary in just a minute. And we will have, of course, your Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark, presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric and DickeyElectric.com. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, cannot stress, cancer survivor. He survived a season of football with me in the booth. He survived several years of baseball coaching as well as football coaching. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in the living legend, Gary Niddle. What's up, G? How are you, pal?
I don't know if you could see what was going on while you were introducing me, but I got kicked out of our facility by the softball team. So I was all
just
set
said,
up
get the hell out of here.
This is how we roll in Canfield. It was their time, but I told you I'd get on at 3. They had a rough one yesterday, dealing with Sid, and they were kind of having a group session, coaches taking responsibility and so forth. And Coach Kernan, we're tight out here. And he came upstairs and he was going to do powwows individually with the players. I'm like, I'm doing I'm doing coach's corner. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, I'll get out of here. So I came outside. I'm in my car right now. But this is how we were. He's like, no, you're good. I'm like, we could do it in the background. But
what car are you in? Because you have had a long string of bad luck going on right now there, Mr. Niddle.
Yeah, I am in my father's car. And I will be in this car for at least 2 more days until we figure out whether we're going to get a new car. Thanks for throwing that out there for everyone. I had a car just die on me on 76 a couple days ago. But the good news is yesterday was a great opener. We'll hop right into it. And I know you
prefaced, your show, lead it. You just take it away. I'll answer questions for you.
I could sit here. I haven't got to talk to you for a while. So this is kind of like us just talking anyway. But
that's it.
But you survived me during football. Let's be honest here. It wasn't the other way around. Now I can talk. I over talked way too much. I learned my lesson that year. But we are a young group, and going into yesterday, Fitch has 12 seniors, their seasoned group. Unfortunately for Mason Petritas, I love the young man and his arm issues, so we were kind of gearing up for that, but we knew a couple weeks ago that, he wasn't going to be able to throw this year. And I was talking to him and their coaches, and that's a shame because he works extremely hard. And, if anyone deserves, a great season, the good news is, and the bad news for Canfield is he's only a junior. So, he has a senior year. Hopefully everything works out. But we have 2 seniors. And that's since I've been here as an assistant or as a head coach, that's unheard of.
Talk about those seniors. I mean, those guys that are going to be captaining this ship. I mean, they've been troopers for you the whole way.
Yeah. Well, we win yesterday 2-0 because of one of those seniors. And that was Michael Patelis. Just went out and was a dog on the mound. I mean, he gave us 6 innings. We would have been happy with 5. But he kept his pitch count down. He pitched extremely well, limited the walks, got through the sixth, and then we went to our junior, who's never pitched in a varsity game in Zane Jadala, and he came in and closed the door. The other senior is going to be Trent Rarick, who's a left-handed pitcher. We're going to depend on him because I know I spoke to you earlier. We lost our number two for I don't know how long, and our 2 and our 3. Noah Anzavino, who threw a lot of innings for us last year. He's been having some shoulder issues, so we're trying to get him right. And then yesterday, Ryan Weibling, a freshman, who's going to be that's a name you're going to hear for the next 4 years. He did something to his hip in the game. He was started in left field, and we're not sure. The trainer for Fitch thinks it may be a broken hip. He had x-rays today. They came back negative, but he's going to have to get an MRI. Could be a labrum. So we're keeping our fingers crossed with him. But yeah, I will tell you what, this is my 26th year coaching, and this has been probably the most fun. We've had the dudes, we've had the Vital Cheeses of the world, the Shaws, the energy guys, Petros. I'm leaving out a million people. But this freshman group that we got, it's fun to coach. They are sponges. They listen. They're getting thrown into the fire. I mean, we had 5 freshmen playing yesterday. Freshman shortstop, 2 freshmen in the outfield. We had a freshman at third at one point. Freshman at first. They are go-getters. They're competitors. They work extremely hard, and they deserve everything that they're going to have over these next 4 years, and I can't wait to follow them for the next 4 years.
Is this a situation where,
young and dumb? Yes.
Well, I mean, you hear about it all the time in the major leagues and the minors. Is they're just young enough and inexperienced enough not to know the gravity of the situations. I mean, for a coach, for somebody that's coached for 26 years, is that something that you're like, okay, I invite this, but I mean, you're getting as much baptism by fire as they are at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, we open up with Fitch in league. I mean, come on, at their place. And it's always a dogfight with Fitch. It is what it is. And they answered the bell. I mean, it was all underclassmen. Patelis on the mound, but the rest of it was all underclassmen. Tanner Stricko had a triple to the wall that scored the first run, who was a sophomore, and Enzo Coco, who can run like a deer. And then Zane Jadala hits a sac fly, and those are the 2 runs that Michael made stand up. But yeah, the young and dumb, but they, like I said, I've known these kids for years. I've watched them come through Canfield, and I know some of the families, and I knew what we were getting this year. Coach Gabriel from Boardman, it's his son, is our starting shortstop as a freshman.
Yeah.
And I played with Coach Gabriel, and so I know the type of players that we're getting. They're going to be coached well. They're going to be, taught the game of baseball. They're going to respect the game, and they're going to work hard. And that's all we ask out of all of our players is, what people don't understand. I talk to some parents, and this might come off as however you want to look at it, but we've been going at it since September. And some of my colleagues that I teach with, their kids are at different schools. I'm not going to say names, but some of them haven't started practice till January. Some don't practice on Fridays, Saturdays. Some are just playing wiffle ball. I'm hearing and I'm just sitting there. Like one school, I was told by one of their players that they didn't figure out varsity or JV till opening day, and they didn't put bunt coverages in. They didn't. And when I hear these things, it just I find it shocking. I just think we're so dedicated as a staff here at Canfield that we prepare our kids, and that's a tribute to my coaching staff, not to me. I put it on our staff. We lose Rick Havrilla, who was the assistant coach of the year in the state of Ohio last year, because he's getting to watch his boys play, which is awesome. But we bring in, Danny Stricko, who, let's see, he was the Australian national coach for a year. The pitching coach at Youngstown State back when Hennessy and those guys were thrown and got drafted. We're fortunate that we keep reloading, and we have guys that are willing to come with me and take it. We bring Andrew Sabella up to varsity, who's been our JV guy for the last couple of years. He's ready. It's awesome. I mean, it really is. I can't speak highly enough of my staff and my kids, and they deserve all the credit. All I do, I sit behind, I put a lineup together, and they execute. So
You're old and dumb, right? That's if they're
I'm
young and
old and
dumb, you're
dumb.
old and dumb.
At this point, I'm old and dumb. 100%. I'm still doing this. There's something wrong.
So, all right. So I've got to ask you a question
Let's
because
get the
you and I
Myrtle.
talk obviously from a standpoint of just being friends. We talk a lot. There is a really weird concept going on in the state of Ohio that coaches, manage, whatever you want to call yourself, you guys are judged by state championships. And in the state of Ohio, they only give out a handful of those state championships at the end of the year. What I would argue, and I would argue this to anybody, is that you, my friend, and your coaching staff and the community of Canfield have put out more college baseball players than anybody that I can recall in this area, whether the YSN community or otherwise. That to me should be the grading system of how a job has been done. And you and your staff have done an incredible job of putting those young men in a position to play at the next level, whether it be D3, JUCO, D2, D1, whatever it may be. But the most important thing to you always has been, and I would imagine always will be, getting that secondary education so they can have a better life for themselves. What do you see when you think about, okay, check the box, this season was successful, this season wasn't? What do you kind of determine your success based on of that kind of narrative?
That's a great question, and I got into coaching. It wasn't my first love. You know this story. I was going into broadcasting. I was, my first degree was in broadcasting. I got done playing baseball and had the opportunity. Corey Gregorino was the head coach at Springfield. Bob Beam, Joe Gabriel, and Mark Yakoboviak asked me to come out and help out. And I started helping out. And the parents there were like, "You're a great teacher. Like, you need to go into education." And I thought, there's no money in that. What am I going to do? Before you know it, I'm signing up at Youngstown State, finish my 2 years. I get in education and continue to coach as an assistant, kind of learn through some great mentors. Dan Zolik at South Range. I had a year at Solon, and I got to work with Jim Tomey and Johnny Mack. And, the love for the game, it's something I've done my entire life. And I wanted to give back. And I'm going to tell you somebody now that doesn't get a lot of credit is Kenny Turpak at Camel. He took over that program because it's his alma mater, and he's just giving his time. He is one of those coaches that he's a rare guy. He will give his rest of his life. Baseball was good to him, so he's giving it all back. And I learned a lot from Kenny. And my thing was, if they want to play at the next level, we'll get you to the next level. But you got to meet me halfway. You put the time in, you put the work in. It makes it real easy for me to make a call and say, hey, whether it's D2, D1, JUCO, like you were saying, if they want to play, I'll find a spot for you. And we've been blessed. We've got 15 kids right now that are still playing collegiately, which, like you said, I've looked around. Akron Hoban's knocking on that door because they're getting there. But yeah, 15 kids for a small, D2 school. We're not D1. So I take pride in that. I do. I want the kids to succeed. It is not about wins and losses. And I really mean that. And I know I mean that. When I won Coach of the Year a couple of years ago, they asked, how many wins do I have? And, they wanted all this information. And for those that don't know, my first head coaching job was at Liberty, and it was a program that didn't have any wins that I took over. And we had to learn on the fly. And by the time I got done, and after my 6 years there, we had won 20 games. But I had no idea what my record was at Liberty when I came to Canfield. So I had to go in the archives where I work and try to figure that out, and then add in what we had here at Canfield. And it doesn't mean anything. I didn't know. So it really is the truth. Like, I love the game, and I want the kids to succeed, and I'll do whatever's in my power to give them that opportunity.
And you've done it so well for so long. And
Appreciate
you know, obviously, you know, you and I have both awesome haircuts
it.
to prove our experience, as I like to
Yeah,
say. But given that experience, you've been able to watch some of your kids move on and go watch them play at the
still,
places they are. One of the guys right now that is just lighting the world on fire, Landon Vital Cheese,
yeah,
who you know, nicknamed the Big Cheese here on YSN. We're seeing him do great things. When
yeah,
you're able to watch the kids that you coached
love it.
on TV or streaming or whatever that is, what does that mean to you, and what stirs up inside of you when you're kind of, I mean, are you still analyzing them, or are you just kind of a fan at that point?
I talk to Cheese. I'll give him something before a start, and then however it goes, great job, way to pound the zone, And I'm watching on ESPN. Like it's so like surreal at times. He's pitching against Arizona State. He's got starts against Cal. Like, I mean, how could you not love it? It's a joy. AJ Havrilla as a freshman is playing down at Marshall.
Mhm.
It's Nate Shaw is doing. He went out to pitch at Wright State, and you're gonna love this one. So I get a text about a week and a half ago from Nate. He's like, Coach, now this is the family that we have at Canfield. Nate Shaw took my son under his wing, and Nate Shaw is my son's biggest hero. So before Nate left, he gave my son his glove that he used for every start in Canfield and gave it to my son. And my son has been using it. Nate reaches out to me a week and a half ago and says, Coach, I hate to do this, but they want me to work out with the shortstops because we've had some injuries. Can I get my glove back? And I said, yeah, we'll get it to you. I shipped it out to him. I'd never shipped his glove out last Wednesday. And he just got it, and now he's working with the infant. I love it. I love that they, I got the opportunity to go see Landon in the Cape Cod, which has been a dream of mine. And anyone that hasn't gone out there, oh my God, is it worth it? And I got to take my son. He got autographs from all these guys that are going to be pros, down the road. And, these are the experiences. That's what I get out of this,
Yeah.
when these guys, and it doesn't have to be Landon at a Division I school. I watch Ricky at Tiffin.
Yeah.
We've went up there. I went to his first pitch, Ricky Havrilla. We went on a trip down to Tennessee with Rick to go watch, some games in 30-degree weather. We froze our rear ends off. But that's what I enjoy the most, is when I can sit back and watch the fruits of our labor. Like, that I played a small role. Landon Vital Cheese was going to be Landon Vital Cheese. It wasn't because of me. But I think we got him prepared mentally, for what to expect at Ohio State. And he's exceeded every expectation.
When
So yes,
you
it's awesome.
so yes, long
Yeah,
story into a yes.
love it.
So I mean, look at it outside today. I mean, you guys are trying to play your first home game of the season today was
Yeah,
scheduled, right?
yeah.
Ain't happening.
Not
Uh,
till for the break. No,
Along with anybody, right?
yeah.
Nobody's playing today.
This is
Even if you have turf, you're not playing. So
no.
that leads
Well, we
me
were supposed to
into
play there. Fitch,
no.
it's 100% chance of rain. I talked to Coach Paris. I said, let's play this when there's no rain. We tried that 2 years ago, if you remember.
I do.
And I said, I don't want to relive that. That was with Landon on the mound, and
Yep.
he was throwing 90 plus, and the balls were going. I mean, they were soaking wet. And I said, I don't want to do that. Let's do it the right way. So we
Yeah.
both agreed we're gonna make it up on Thursday.
And that's good.
Yeah,
Thursday's
I love it.
good.
Absolutely.
I will be on my way to Myrtle Beach on
I'll
Thursday.
right behind you, buddy.
I
I'll
know.
be right behind you.
So for you, and there's so many different takes on this, and you and I have gone, I don't want to say rounds, because I think we're on the same side on this, to be able to go to a different state at this point in the year during spring break, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get games in. Almost guaranteed games. I say almost guaranteed because we've seen games canceled because they do get rain in South Carolina.
Yeah.
But for you to get these games and to go on these trips, there's so many different things that it can do to help your team other than just get games in. What are some of those things? And what are the advantages, do you think, of having these trips for baseball and softball this time of year?
Unlimited. I mean, number one, yeah, we're getting games in. We looked at the weather in Myrtle, and it's looking better, Deej, each and every day.
Yeah.
It's going to be 25 degrees warmer down there. It's looking 70 to 75. Where here we're gonna have rain in 45. That's good. But more importantly for us, and if you asked any of my players, you saw us, the Beach Boys a couple years ago. Like, it is such a, they will make memories from that trip. And I have kids that have come back and told me, "Hey, coach, like, I'll never forget this." And oh, do you remember when we threw the sand on Coach Morrell in the shower? And just crazy stuff that they're never going to forget. You're going to forget a lot of things from your high school days. I remember we went on a trip our senior year at Boardman, and I was just with Jason Treveri and a bunch of the guys and Joe Gabriel, and just talking about that trip and the things that went on that trip. The camaraderie, they build each other. They're living, we live in a house. So it's not like they have separate rooms and hotel rooms. They're all in a house together, and you're kind of forced to learn about each other. The good, the bad, the ugly, who stinks the most, who doesn't shower, more than I'd like to admit. But they get a sense of each other, and that's important in any sport, is playing for your teammate, and that's what this group, we're young and we're going to make mistakes, but those guys pick each other up, and I love it. So I think it's endless. I think it's a absolute must if you can do it. It's not cheap. We're fortunate that we have a booster club that pays for it, and we're able to do it. But if you have the means and you have the time and you're able to do it, I would highly recommend it.
Is JMO on staff this year?
He's not.
Okay, I was gonna say,
he's football focused. We were gonna bring him down this year. We were
just as the live entertainment,
just because. And it's still not out of the realm. We got a couple days. I might be able to convince him.
Come on, JMO.
We'll see. It's been thrown out there. But yeah, we got a lot of new guys on staff. We got some young guys that are hungry too, like Jason Treveri, his son, who's just left YSU's program, is doing an awesome job with Nate Fleming, who's 2 Boardman grads. Got him on Canfield's staff.
Just for you,
just saying, I'm a Boardman grad too, so
Yep.
It's kind of one of those things. I've had a lot of success with those guys. Chance Merlin, who's a Canfield grad, he'll be down there. He's on our staff, who played at Lake Erie.
The Wizard.
It's just, we're fortunate. Like I said, Matt Weimer, we haven't even talked about Matt yet. He's a pitching genius. I mean, yesterday the game that he called was, it's look at his numbers here the last 3 years. Our team ERA is like under 1. I mean, yeah, we've had some arms, but you still got to call a game, and he does it better than anyone else.
Weimer's a stud.
He's
an absolute gem. I mean, you always, and I guess that's the difference, right? When you talk about leadership, you read books, you listen to motivational stuff about leaders. Yeah. Leaders attract other leaders, right? And they create other leaders. They're not trying to create followers. So when you have these great staffs, people are like, oh, well, it's not Niddle, it's the staff. But you attract those guys.
Maybe. No, like, okay, I get where you're going with that, but it's also,
come on in.
They got to be willing to,
That's true.
We talk before I bring we've had guys that wanted to come on staff, and I don't think it was the right fit. And because they were great minds of baseball, but just not, I'm a very hands-off guy. There is a Fitch guy in the Boardman staff.
I think I know who that is.
Coach Games. But it has to be the right fit. It really does. You got to understand how these kids in Canfield are. You need to understand what our expectations are. And like I say, when I'm hands off, I give, Coach Weimer is the pitching guy. And I've done this with Coach O'Brien when we had him before OB. He's in charge of pitching, and I really don't overstep that. I don't think that's a manager's job. Andrew Sabella works with hitters and outfielders, and Coach Stricko's infield guy and works with hit. Like, they all have a job, and I give them the leeway, like, do what's best, like, and they can focus on that, as opposed to everyone just kind of, all over the place. And our kids respect that. I really think that, because they're focused on one area, and we're not just kind of, now every once in a while, I got to make a decision that, Coach Weimer, believe me, we don't agree on everything.
Yep.
because it's kind of old school, new school. He's still on that new school, or old, I'm old school. He's kind of a little more new school. But when it's all said and done, we all respect each other, and we respect each other's opinions, and it's an 8-person. I don't make all the decisions, and it's an 8-person decision.
And you go and awesome. you eat chicken wings and gas up the bus and the
Fricker. Funny story, and this is a quick one because I know you got to probably get out here, but we're heading back up to Defiance. We're going back up there for a PBR event this year, and the guy, I asked him, it's going to be a late trip, so we got to stop on the way back, and I said, can you give me any recommendations? And he comes back with Frickers to start with.
No.
And I stopped him. I said, no, something. He goes, B-dubs, and then he mentioned this Gateway Grill or something. I said, we're going Gateway Grill. And he's like, what's wrong with Frickers? So he calls me on the phone. It's the head of the PBR. We're talking about how bad you were on that bus.
Oh.
And it was 3-4 days of cleansing to get Frickers out of it.
I think they had
down.
They had to put that bus out of commission.
It was bad.
That was a bad experience. And the
that was
smells.
A long trip. I still get it. Ugh.
Awful. Dude, I cannot thank you enough for stopping by. You know you're one of my favorite people in this world, not just baseball coaches.
You too, brother.
Just humans. And publicly, I know we've talked about it on the show before. I'm so freaking proud of you, man, for what you've overcome, the adversity that you faced, and you never blinked. People don't know that about you all the time, and I'm so grateful that you're in my circle of friends and that you're in my life. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep killing it.
Hey, vice versa, man. You're an inspiration to a lot of people in this area, including myself. Yeah, see, now you blush. It's easy when you start throwing things my way, but I start throwing stuff back and you get that.
Doesn't work that way. This isn't your show, Nitz. Yeah, well, this isn't your show. Get the hell out of here.
30 minutes. I'm getting my money's worth, buddy.
Dude, go have fun. I know you got some meetings to tend to. Thanks for taking some time out for us today.
Absolutely. Love it, Deej. See you in Myrtle.
You got it. Later. There he goes, Gary Nittle. Again, one of the greatest human beings you're ever going to meet. I will take that to my grave. Anytime we need him, anytime we want to talk to him, anytime there's an opportunity to talk up one of his kids, whether it's past, present, or future, he will always do it. So thanks to Gary Nittle for taking some time out for us to educate us on what's going on at Canfield and why teams should be taking these spring break trips if the opportunity presents itself. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to recap a little bit of the stuff that's been going on, some of the games that happened last night. There are no games tonight, folks. To my knowledge, everything has been absolutely canned. So nothing to look at tonight. I know we're going to go back and look at some of the games that happened and make sure that those games get their attention. We're going to talk about the importance of Game Changer, especially when it comes to YSN. All of that and more when we come back. The YSN Power Hour, proudly powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yokley with you, and it's all brought to you thanks to our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Thanks to Gary Niddle for stopping by, the head baseball coach at Canfield, and so much more. My broadcast companion, guy that helped me through that entire South Range state championship run and has done so much for YSN. I'll never, ever, 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 ever be able to repay him. And on top of that, Canfield, you are in his debt because he is making sure that YSN goes on the road with the Canfield Cardinals down to Myrtle Beach. They will have someone that will be broadcasting the games for them. That's breaking news. Starting on, I believe they might be on the same schedule we are, so it might be on Monday. But stay tuned. We will have that for you. And Gary Niddle is the one that makes it all possible. He's the reason we're in Canfield, by the way. He made a huge push to get us in there, and hopefully it's an experience that Canfield has never, ever second-guessed. It brings me to my next thing. So there are no games. I just looked at the schedule. I'll double-check it here that nothing got slipped in the last couple minutes. But no, we have YSU at Toledo baseball as of right now is going on. So we have that, but there are no high school games to speak of as we talk right now. But I will tell you this, and I will preface this by saying how important Game Changer is, not just because we work closely with them on several different fronts, but I will tell you that Game Changer is important from our standpoint because it's direct access to information. It is no longer the age that information for high school sports is okay in just bits and pieces. People want information. They want to know how their kids did, how their alma mater is doing, how the kids that they bump into the grocery store, how the student athletes that they play with throughout the year in AAU and JO and travel ball, they want to know how they're doing, and they want to know detailed events and dialogue and cataloging of it. So Game Changer helps us because athletic directors no longer necessarily have that in their repertoire because they're so busy doing other things. There's so many hats that athletic directors wear. There's so many hats that coaches wear that Game Changer makes. And this isn't a Game Changer commercial by any means, but I will tell you that if you are on Game Changer, please send us your I don't even know what it is, your tag, your handle, whatever it is, because that is one of the key ways that we can stay up to date and put your information, put the scores up, put the stories up as well. It's pivotal. It is absolutely crucial that we have the Game Changer and that you're using Game Changer. It's by far the easiest. Again, not a sales tactic, but it's by far the easiest way to keep score other than an actual physical scorebook. But all the new age is telling you, hey, this is what we need to be doing. But it also, there's integration that we can utilize when we're there to enhance your Game Changer. So you can go back and you can break down at bats and cut highlights and video highlights and things like that. So what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of people that are like, well, hey, we're seeing you do all these games. Why don't we ever get it? Number one, do we have your Game Changer? We've put it out there on social. We've also asked for it on shows like this. Hey, if you give us your Game Changer, it's a heck of a lot easier for us to do it, right? And they're making things easier and easier and easier by the day. Again, what I'm going to tell you is help us help you. Help us help you get your student athletes out, because Anthony Hartwig, myself, Sam Torres, there's so many, Matt Maher, we're all sitting here, just Ty Bartell hammering, trying to make sure that all these games are covered. We didn't have that last night, and it's frustrating for us, because then we have to go on a goose hunt trying to find these teams. The other thing I would like to make you aware of is the communication sometimes is not always there from a standpoint of us to schools or schools to us. So if you know that your games are canceled, we encourage you to send us a message and just make us aware. Even if we already know, it's nice to have a little bit of backup. It's nice to know, okay, we've got it. And we always encourage our folks that handle social media. A lot of times it's Anthony, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's others. We thank you. We appreciate that, because we want to make sure that we're not sending somebody out there wasting their time if a game's already been canceled or moved, because we know that happens now, because some teams have turf and some teams don't. But we encourage you to, if you know a game is canceled or games are canceled or moved, please let us know, because that helps the athletic directors as well. I would rather err on the side of too much communication as opposed to none. So greatly appreciate all of your help, and some of you have been incredible for this, dropping your game changer tags and things of that nature. So if you don't feel comfortable putting on social media publicly, send us a private message, send us an email. We'll handle it from there. Our goal, number one goal always, is to make sure that everybody under the YSN umbrella is able to be seen, is able to be read. And these student athletes have a platform that they can go back years, and they have a living account of what they've done. It's a novel of what they've done throughout their high school career. So, we need your help from that standpoint. I'm not too, I don't even know what the word is. I'm not sitting here saying that we can do it all by ourselves. We're not there. And I honestly, I don't think we ever will be there. We're always going to need your help, your support, and obviously everything that goes along with it. So please, if you have your game change, even again, if we already have it, send it again, and just make sure that somebody acknowledges it. And worst case scenario, we get it twice, right? And what's the harm in that? What do we got here from a standpoint of? I see some comments. Check it out. Mr. Balestrino says, if I have game changer, will I get a scholarship? Well played. Well played. I can't even argue that one. That was well played. As I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. Look at the rabbit hole we just went down again. Yeah, we're not going there again today. What else was I going to talk about? Oh. And we'll wrap up again probably a little bit early today as I try to go get some of those game changer stories and put them on YSN. Sunday, just a recap, and a lot of you watch and look at our social media constantly, and we appreciate that when you follow us and giving us, kind of your timeline. The numbers came in last night late, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Our goal internally was we wanted to raise $4,000 for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. $4,000, because that would, I think, account to 16 beds that we could build, or at least attribute to building through the great people at Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Last night, the tally comes in, and I'm an emotional guy to begin with. I started tearing up a little bit thinking about $6,300 and the people that walked into that gymnasium on Sunday, throughout the day, throughout the evening, the events that transpired. Again, you can't help but getting emotional about it. I mean, we changed. As great as that experience was that night, right? That lightning in a bottle type situation that we created on Sunday together. The impact that we made that night will be felt not just for one night and one night alone, but it will be felt for years and years and years to come, because we're able to build over 20 beds for the youth that need it, the youth that deserve it, for people that don't have the opportunity to put their head on a pillow at night and have a nice, comfortable bed to rest, to recharge. They now have that. They will have that because of all of you. And it's incredibly important. The impact that we made on Sunday night will last for years and years and decades. You know, I'm a huge fan of the Pat McAfee show. And one of the things that he says, his tagline at the end, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. What we do, right? And he does. He gives a lot. And hopefully we're in a situation or a position to do that someday, because that's what I want to do, is be able to continually give back and back and back and back and dive right back in to these communities that have opened their doors to us. But what I can tell you is that Sunday night, I think everybody walked out of there with a smile on their face because of what happened, but more so because the hope, the want, is that they just changed someone's life. I will not be happy, and I know the people over at Sleep in Heavenly Peace will not be happy until we don't need any more beds for youth, because everybody has one. It's one of the most incredible things to me that people can survive without having a bed to come home to, having that space. And then once we have one we will they ante it up, upgrade it. You know, it's next level stuff. I'm so damn proud, incredibly proud of the efforts that were put together on Sunday. And people, I'm just a talking head. I'm just a bald talking head at that. It has to do with these kids. It has to do with these student athletes. It has to do with the parents. It has to do with these coaches. It has to do with the people that work at YSN. The Donnie Riccatellis of the world that are making an impact, that want nothing to do with living in the limelight, but instead are doing life-changing work from the shadows. Folks, that's what it's all about. Sports is all about teamwork. And the team that we had together on Sunday and all the days leading up to Sunday, and I can name each and every one of them, but it would take me a whole nother show to do it. I'm eternally and always grateful for the team that I have here, for the people that support the team that we have at YSN, because we can do things like we did on Sunday that are incredibly special, that no matter how many state championships, no matter how many great stories that we put on our website that we continue to cover, it's moments like this where we can turn over $6,300 to a great organization to go and do even greater things. That's what sports, to me, has been and will always be about, is being part of a team that chases championships no matter what they look like. It's about winning. And sometimes you can get victories through failing, because you get better. You learn a little bit more about yourself. And what I can tell you is there was no failing on Sunday night. Not one. Not one person that walked into that gymnasium was a failure or had anything to do with being losses or losing. Everybody won on Sunday night. So incredibly proud. I'm so incredibly proud of everybody, from the spectators, how they handle themselves, the constant applause, the electricity that was in the air, the students that showed up to support their other student athletes. The coaches that volunteered their time, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My team, BSTN, the cheerleaders. I mean, the list goes on and on. On and on. Bernie Kosar, the judges, Madison Tromler, Scotty Mincher, Kelly Pavlik, Andrew DePaulo. Thank you. Thank you. And I can put it on a graphic and say thank you, but this is me saying thank you. And I hope you understand the authenticity that's coming through this communication device that you're holding. I can't thank you enough. Champions were crowned, absolutely. 3-point MVPs, big dogs of the year, 3-2-1, slam dunk. But the real champions are yet to be crowned, because when those beds go in their bedrooms, their life changes forever. Forever. And it's because of you. And I can't thank you enough. I can't begin to thank you enough. And I sure as hell cannot end the gratitude that we have here at YSN and me personally, because that was special. I mean, there were so many people that were excited when they saw that number. We blew past the goal that we had well into another one. And I will tell you this, we will not stop until we blow past that goal moving forward in the next year. That's what champions do. That's what champions do, and that's what we do, because we are Youngstown. We are the Mahoning Valley. We are Ashtabula. We are Western Pennsylvania. I'm so freaking proud. I'm so proud. We are Cleveland. We are Akron. We are YSN. And damn, are we proud. Man, am I proud. Let's get to, wait a minute. We got to comment all of that. Sammy Torres's aunt. Oh, man. Well, Sam, your aunt's asking what my favorite car is. Okay. Well, currently, Aunt Barbara, which is spelled weird, my favorite car is a Toyota Tundra. That's my favorite car, because that's what I'm driving. And my wife right now is looking at getting a Toyota 4Runner, so she's pretty excited about that prospect. So we'll have a couple Toyotas in the driveway. I know, they're paying our bills for this show naturally, and we show our support. I'll be calling G Nittle and saying, hey, Nitz, your car blew up. You need to be getting in a Toyota from Toyota Warren or in a Chevrolet over there from Greenwood, because that's who pays our bill. So I'll be pushing him that way. Nitz does what he wants, and he's earned that right. All right, it is time for the almost went the old school route for the What's Your Beef. It is What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything electrical, everything electrical. Make sure you're going to DickeyElectric.com. All right, so what's my spark today? My spark is that I was completely clueless as to when opening day was in baseball. Not high school baseball, but pro baseball. All that started already. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, they're making a real big deal out of this early morning baseball between the Dodgers and the Padres. And I was going and I looked at the standings. I'm like, okay, I was going to take a picture. Everybody's in first place. Everyone's a winner. The title of the song that plays in the intro. Yeah, not like that. Dodgers and Padres have already started. I missed it. Good job, sports guy. Super job. Awareness factor, 0. And on top of that, I keep getting these things that are saying, because I'm a Pirates fan naturally, hey, come to opening day, come to opening day, come to opening day. And I'm like, yeah, I think we're going to be in Myrtle, can't make opening day, but opening day is Thursday for the Buccos. Opening day is Thursday for a lot of teams. And I for some reason, thought they opened up against the Orioles because that's what keep popping up on the old algae. No, we're playing the Marlins. Playing the Marlins in Miami. No shot. No shot. I mean, I guess we keep driving from Myrtle straight down to Miami and watch the Pirates, but quite honestly, even though I think the Pirates are going to be good, 162-0, first team in baseball history, I think I'd rather watch South Range softball, Canfield softball, Austintown Fitch softball, Columbiana softball, Columbiana baseball, South Range baseball, St. John baseball. Sorry, Sam. I'm sorry. I know. He's yelling. He's screaming. Now he's laughing. I'd rather watch all those teams. We're excited. We're Austintown Fitch baseball as well, as I understand it. Canfield baseball. I think I said that already. We'll say it twice because Gary was on the show today. All of that is going to be, we have well over 20 games that we're going to be bringing to you over the next week. Almost guaranteed because, again, Myrtle Beach does get weather, but it doesn't look like it. Siri's telling me otherwise, so we will see. That's going to do it for our show, though, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you tuning in and always do and always will. Can't thank you enough, as Todd chimes in, says, how does a Oshner and a Torres family? I don't know. I don't do the what are those tests, those DNA tests? The Ancestry. I'm not ancestry.com, Todd. We'll have to talk about that on the beach. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we will have Power Hour on the beach, or at least the beach in the background. Ty Bartell will be a big part of that, as well as Sam Torres and yours truly. Hi, Jack Cook. Good to see you. Appreciate you with the football. We're excited to bring all of that to you and talk to you about what we're seeing down in the Grand Strand. So that is all coming up for you next week. We will have a travel day on Thursday. There will be no show. We're hoping, fingers crossed, to get Preston Tonar tomorrow, as that young man, 9 years old, heading down to Augusta this weekend to do some special things. And hopefully he's on the show tomorrow to talk all about it. He and Brian Tonar, who everybody knows, loves, and is a big part of us at YSN. We'll get them on, and we'll talk about the special trip that they're going to be on that not everybody, in fact, not most, are able to accomplish, especially as a 9-year-old. We'll talk about that and more, give you updates on anything that happens between now and then, and, of course, get you set up for tomorrow. Hopefully, some baseball and softball will be taking place. Until tomorrow, 3 p.m., we will see you right here on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation.